my name is Miss Stevenson. I'm a chemistry teacher at Boclair Academy. Some of you might not recognise me, I've worked here for very long. I have had the chance to teach some of you, but for those of you that I've had the chance to teach, hopefully I will get a chance to teach you when we get back to school very soon. So the reason that I decided to record this lesson along with the other chemisters is that we are very impressed with all the work that everybody has been sitting on to show my homework. A lot of you have been working very hard at home. I know it's been very difficult, but we are seeing your work, which you're putting in, and you're all doing a really good job. One thing that you're really missing as science teachers, I'm sure that you're missing at home as well, is doing experiments. So I don't have any chemicals or any lab equipment at home, so it is difficult to try and do experiments, and it will be for you as well. And again, safety is when it comes to carrying experiments. I wanted to show you today that you can carry at home safely, but I would recommend you've got an adult to supervise you throughout the experiment. So before I start to talk about the experiment itself, I'm going to walk you through some of the work that was put on show work about acids and alkalis. So again, if you've not had a chance to do this yet, hopefully you'll get a chance to go back and complete it. But I'll briefly talk you through some of it before I start to show what the experiment is. So let me just turn this off. I'm new to Zoom. This is my first ever Loom lesson, so bear with me. Teachers are always learning as well. So on this here, we've got a picture of something called the pH scale. So all substances can either be described as being an acid, as being an alkali, or being a neutral substance. So to tell whether something is an acid, an alkali, or neutral, we use either a universal indicator or pH paper. So there are lots of different things that we can use to tell the pH of something, but these are the two main things that we would normally use in school because they give us a kind of nice spectrum here. So if I was to add universal indicator to a substance that was acid, it would either go a kind of red, orange, or yellow colour. If something was neutral, it would go a kind of greeny colour. Okay. So acids have a pH of between 1 to 6. And again, as I said before, if you were to add pH paper or universal indicator to a substance that is acidic, it would either go kind of red, orange, or yellow. If something was yellow, it would mean it was a kind of slightly weaker acid, because as you can see, it's kind of closer to neutral. And neutral substances are things like water, so they don't really show acidic tendencies or alkaline tendencies. The same with alkalis. They can turn a blue colour, a kind of light blue or purple colour, or even a kind of guinea blue colour if you add universal indicator or pH paper to them. The stronger an alkali is, the kind of more deep blue or purple colour it will turn. If it's a kind of weaker alkali, it will go a kind of greeny blue, like teal colour. So acids and alkalis are everywhere, and there are lots of substances that are natural acid and alkali indicators as well. So for example, you might have seen a hydrangea bush. You might not have one in your garden, but you might have seen one about. So they are quite nice flowers. So quite often people grow them in their gardens. They mostly tend to have a kind of nice blue colour. So for example, Mrs. Brown had these in her back garden, and they were a nice blue flower. But she decided that she wanted to have them in her front garden as well. So she decided to move some of the bushes into the front garden. But when they grew in her front garden, they were pink instead of blue. So why might this be? Right. So what might the difference be between the soil in Mrs. Brown's back garden and the soil in Mrs. Brown's front garden? So the answer is that it would have a different pH. So there's a kind of nice spectrum here showing you that if you were to grow hydrangeas in soil that's a kind of pH of 4, so that's acidic, it would be blue. The higher the pH gets, so the less acidic it gets, it would be a more purple colour. And if the soil was neutral, so if it had a pH of 7, then the hydrangeas would be pink. So it's quite interesting. If you've ever been to a kind of garden centre or seen soil sold in shops, or maybe you have some at home, it quite often says on the soil whether it's acidic or alkaline or it has a pH on it, because certain plants like certain pH of soils, or again, certain plants will grow different colours depending on what soil you use, which is quite interesting. So there are lots of indicators that you can make at home, but I find the best one, and one that works the best, is red cabbage indicator. So here I've got some bicarbonate of soda, a red cabbage. This is not something that a lot of people would have in their house, but I think it cost me about 50 pence in a supermarket. So again, if you're out doing your weekly shop, if you picked up one, it will cost you too much. Also use lemons. See, these are supposed to act as an acid, but if you don't have any lemons or lemon juice, vinegar can work well too. So for the first step, I would definitely make sure that an adult or maybe an older sibling or older cousin or something is supervising you doing this. So I've used a knife to chop up some of the red cabbage. You could though peel some of the cabbage leaves, that might be a little bit easier, and tear them up into smaller bits so that we can add them to a pot or a pan. After that, we are going to add into some water and you're going to start to boil them for around 10 minutes. So again, I would be very careful here. Make sure that someone is helping you to do this. If you don't feel comfortable using the hob and the pan, you could boil some water in a kettle. It's not going to give you quite as good a colour as doing it in the pan, but it will still work quite well. So if you boil water in a kettle and add that to the red cabbage in a bowl or a pan, then that would work. So you want to boil the liquids until the liquid's a kind of nice purple colour. So again, that's me testing it there, and you can see when it's kind of running off the spoon that it is a purpley colour. The longer you boil it, the darker the colour purple is going to get. You might not want it to be too dark though, because then it's going to kind of not tell you a colour change when we start adding it to different substances. So once you've decided that you've got your nice purple colour, if you could just leave the liquid to cool for about 10 minutes or so, because it's going to be very, very hot. So please just be really, really careful here. So while you're waiting for the liquid to cool down, you can do something to set up for the next part of the experiment. So I just used 3 wee kind of Tupperware boxes, but you could use bowls, you could use cups, you could use glasses, just anything that you've got lying around. So into the first bowl, I squeezed some of the lemon juice. So again, I think I only used about half a lemon. But again, if you wanted to use vinegar here, then that would be absolutely fine. Into the middle bowl, I added some water, just from the tap. It doesn't matter if it's hot or cold. And to the last tub, I added some of the bicarbonate of soda. But make sure when you are adding the bicarbonate of soda that you add some water, or else you're going to work with our indicator. So at the end, you should have 3 substances that look like this. So the lemon juice is an acid, or you might have vinegar. The neutral substance is water, and the alkali is the bicarbonate of soda. So before we start to use the red cabbage indicator, if you just go back to the other indicator that we might have used, universal indicator, what kind of colours that would give us if we added it to these substances. So for an acid, for the lemon juice, normally have gone a kind of red or orange or yellow colour. For water, it would have gone a nice green colour, and the alkali, it would have gone a kind of blue or purple or kind of tealy colour. So the red cabbage indicator is going to do something different, right? So it might get a little confusing, but the more we start to use these different indicators, we will get used to it. So you will need some kind of sieve and a bowl for this part, because we want to get rid of the cabbage leaves that were in the pot. So again, just sieve that, and again, be very careful. Make sure the liquid's cool before you do that. And the cabbage leaves, I just put in the bin, or if you've got a compost bin, that would be even better. And you should have your purple indicator liquid in the bowl. So you should have quite a lot of it, or depends on how much water you've used. So I just used a kind of measuring spoon. You could use a ladle, you could use something to add some of the indicator to each of the substances. So remember, we added the red cabbage to water and it's on purple. So if water is a neutral substance, it's going to turn purple in a neutral substance. I'm going to show you the other 2 substances and the results that we get with those. You might want to try this out for yourself. You might not want to spoil it. So if you want to do that, you can pause the video just now and then go give it a go. If not, you can see what results I get, see if you get the same results, and then I'm going to give you some ideas for other substances you might have around your house that you could use as well. Okay, so a nice purple colour and a neutral substance. For the acid, again, I've used some cabbage indicator into the lemon juice, and it's going to kind of nice pinky reddy colour. So that's the same or very similar as what you would get if you used universal indicator. For the alkali, I've added some of the red cabbage indicator, and sometimes it's going a greeny colour, but when I did it here, it's given us a kind of nice blue colour, which again is quite similar to universal indicator, but you might get slightly different results, which is absolutely fine. So there are lots of different substances that you could test at home. So kitchen cleaner is quite a good one. I added it to the water in the background. I don't know if you can see the tub there, and it went a kind of nice blue colour, which means it's alkali. You could use vinegar, you could use soda water, shampoo, toothpaste, lemonade, lots of different ideas that you could use. Lots of fizzy drinks would be quite interesting to find out. The only thing I would maybe caution against is if you're going to use kind of dark coloured ones like Coca-Cola or something like that, it's going to be difficult to tell what the colour change is, just because Coca-Cola is a kind of dark brown colour. So if you are using substances at home, I would try and use kind of lighter coloured ones. I would also just be very careful. I wouldn't go raiding your cleaning cupboard or whatever, because some of the cleaning products are kind of dangerous if you handle them. So I would just be double checking with someone at home what you can and can't use and what is safe to use before you use it. So it would be great if you could test out your indicator with substances around your house. You can also make indicator from other things. So you can use blueberries, you can use fruity herbal tea, tulips. I tried the tulips, you can see my vase of tulips in the background, but it didn't really work, so I would maybe not do that one. But apparently bluebells and beetroot work very well too. So again, these will give different colours to what the red cabbage indicator gave. They might give different colours to the universal indicator, so it would be really interesting to find out what colours they give us. So again, you don't need to do this. This is just a kind of suggestion. It might be quite nice to do with kind of younger siblings, older siblings. It might be a really nice family activity to carry out. If you do give it a go, we'd love to see or hear from you to find out how it went. So if you take pictures of the experiment, you can either tweet it through the chemistry department. Our Twitter is @BoclairChemist1. Or you could email it to myself, Mrs. Kerr or Mrs. Stewart. If you don't want us to post anything onto Twitter, that's absolutely fine. Just let us know if you don't want it to be shared. We just really want to see how you're getting on at home. Even if you've just tried it, if you haven't taken any pictures, please just tell us how you've got on. If you've got any questions about it, if you're not sure, anything you're maybe a bit nervous about doing, then again, please email any of us and we'll be more than happy to answer anything that we can. Other than that, there is work to do on Show My Homework for S2 this week. If you could try that at home, that'd be fantastic. And as always, any questions, please let us know. I hope everybody is getting on well at home, and I really hope you all soon.